Last week's show began a series on travel, inspired not only by our recent trip to Russia, but also by guided tours of many of the West European cities we've visited. Your radio sometimes offers suggestions about defensive driving. Well, here's the second set of suggestions for defensive tour guiding. Last week I offered 3 Badami tips for tour guides. 1. Do not mistake obedience for interest. 2. Answer questions decisively whether you know the answer or not. And 3. Strive for superlatives. This week we continue rule number 4. Make the tourist feel uncomfortable about his background information. Precede vague mythological or historical information with the statement, "Of course you have heard of the important battle fought here in our city in the year 732. Don't tell anything more. As in the fairy tale The Emperor's New Clothes, the tourists will squirm, nod hesitantly, and never admit that they haven't any idea what you're talking about. Rule number 5. If by some strange chance your group of tourists is well informed about or especially interested in something, tell them that whatever they really want to see is unavailable. Here's how you would handle that for a church. On Sundays, you would say, "Ladies and gentlemen, we normally go through the church to show tourists the blue and golden mosaics unique in all the world. But since there are religious services today, we can't interfere with services. I'm so sorry." Now, the same routine for the same church on weekdays. "Ladies and gentlemen, we normally go through the church to show tourists the blue and golden mosaics unique in all the world. But the church is only open on Sundays and religious holidays. I'm so sorry." Either way, you achieve your goal. The tourists go away crushed. They have missed their once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And those blue and gold mosaics shine brighter in the telling than they do in reality. Rule number 6. If the group is staying a few days and the Sunday weekday approach doesn't work, then prepare a list of answers for why the group is not seeing what it really wants to see. Here are some examples. Stock answer A. "We would have arranged it on the tour, but your tour leader didn't ask." Now all the hostility can be directed by the tourists toward their own tour leader. Stock answer B. "You wouldn't have understood our language. I know you wanted to see a local show, so we've brought you to an international place." What that means is that the tourists will pay 5 times normal rates to stare at other tourists. Stock answer C. "Whatever you wanted to see is, I'm terribly sorry, sold out for tonight." Now, you do have to be careful with that one. A few enterprising tourists can wreck it. Some of our group discovered in one city by going on their own that the circus allegedly all sold out for that night had been closed for a month and wouldn't reopen until the fall. But if you can keep a tight rein on your group, things can be sold out as often as you need. Rule number 7. If you want to sell something to tourists, be sure to call it handicrafts of the region. If you're pushing lace or embroidery, point to any building on any neighboring hill. Claim that this needlework was done by hand by the orphan girls who live in that convent on that hill, with the help of the dear sisters who teach them. If you're pushing painting or wood carving, then call it a dying art, and say that it's only done in one small village of the region, an art passed down from father to son, which is likely to disappear in this century. Americans will fall for that one every time. Well, you've heard of defensive driving. The preceding were 7 rules for defensive tour guiding. Follow Badami's rules for defensive tour guiding, and you'll surely be better than some of the guides we've had. It would be hard to be worse. More on travel next week. From Mary Badami in Munich, in Tempo.